This is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video we have so much to talk about. Come here, Rosie. Come on. This is Maximo I've got here. Come on, girl. And this is, oops, she can't make it into my lap. Come on. Come on, girl. Come on. Mama get you. There we go. And here's Rosie. And they're both wearing one of my new video designs that we're going to do tomorrow. The pattern's already out there. This is just the Christmas candy striped dog bandana. But I wanted to show you at the beginning of the video. And we'll let them go play. Say bye-bye. Give them a smile, Max. Come on, give them a little smile. There we go. You guys can go play. Well, good morning. Good morning, Michelle. They love to sit on the back of my chair, and it doesn't leave me much place to sit myself. Let me move this just a smidge. There we go. Well, we got a lot of fun things to talk about today. Another thing I want to talk to you about is my hat. Remember the hat for the pattern for the elf hat? And then I made a red one. That one's backwards. Then I made a red one that looked like Santa. Well, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do the same pattern and make a gingerbread boy? So I did. And I love it. So anyway, good morning, Petra. Good morning, Jennifer. I'm so glad you all are here. We have a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk about... Good. Has everyone got their coffee? Let's clink in. Clink! I'm drinking chocolate peppermint mocha today, which is my favorite, but I don't drink it that often because it's, you know, special. So I'm special time with you guys, so I'm drinking it. So anyway, I have a poem that someone sent me that I'm going to read. We're going to talk about blocking today. We're also going to talk about all the new things, so we have a lot of things to discuss. I'm going to pop my glasses on real quick. I want to read you this poem that I got this week in my email. It's called Christmas Crochet Wonderland. It says, crochet hooks twixt my fingers, skeins of yarn no more lingers. A beautiful sight, I'm happy tonight, making all those crochet homemade gifts. Gone away are my minutes, so little time, there's no limits. I've no time for song, just stitching along, making all those crochet homemade gifts. Isn't that funny? Okay, it says, later on, I'll discover something cute, a pretty pattern. To race unafraid, more hats I have to make, making all those crochet homemade gifts. And the last part of it says, while I work, I'm remembering from last year to start sooner. It's never the way, I'm sorry to say, making all those crochet homemade gifts. I thought that was hilarious. Hazelnut cappuccino, that sounds good. I got this poem in my email this week, and I thought that was just hilarious because it's so true. We're running for the yarn. We find perfect patterns. We're working our little fingers to the bone. Our crochet hooks are flying. Yarn's everywhere. And then we realize it's too late. We need to plan earlier. You know, you always try to, but it doesn't always work out. Anyway, I thought I would read that poem with you to begin with just because it was hilarious. Well, next week, just remember, is our ugly sweater contest. We're going to have some giveaways and some fun stuff going on next Tuesday. All right, did everybody bring their coffee and clink in? Now, Sophie told me what kind of coffee she's drinking. Y'all need to tell me what you're drinking. Are you just drinking it black with a little sugar or creamer maybe? Or do you have a flavored coffee? Post that in there. I would like to know what your favorites are. Like I said, mine's peppermint mocha, but only for special occasions. All right, now, the question that I got this week was... Can I block items made with acrylic yarn, and do I really need to? And the answer to that question is yes and no. It's kind of up to you. Green tea. Oh, I love green tea with just a spruce of orange in it. You should try it. It's really good. Just take your orange and squirt it in there a little bit. Oh, it's so good. Okay. I could talk coffee all day just as much as I could talk crochet. All right, so what I wanted to show you is this is a star that I made, and it's not very crisp. It is acrylic yarn. It's Red Heart Shimmer. And then this star is one I made. I made it off the same pattern. I just used, I think this is Party. And see how nice and stiff the corners are? Not stiff, but sharp. And because I didn't use any kind of stiffener. And I made a video yesterday to show you exactly how to block your items. And you can use anything that you have. Like I have these sponges my son gave me from things that he has. You can use a styrofoam board. You can use a stiff sponge. I have heard of people using cardboard. I don't recommend cardboard because cardboard, once it gets wet, you know, it gets yucky and it can get on your stuff. But what I do, I have a couple of ways. And what I do is I get this foam board. I put a nice clean towel over it. And then I pin my project to it. And make sure that the pins that you use are stainless steel. And the reason that's important is because a lot of pins are made of steel or metals that will rust. And when you pin these in, after you pin your items to your board, you're going to take a water bottle and you're going to mist that till it's damp. You don't have to soak it down. Just mist it till it's damp and then use those pins to pin it how you want it to shape. Now this one has 4 corners that are longer than the other 2. I was just going for a different look. And of course this isn't on here straight. But you're going to mist it until it's damp. You're going to use those pins to hold it straight. And then you can either put it on your dryer because then the heat will come up through and dry it. Or you can set it in the sun or just someplace where it can dry. One thing to remember, if you're using a color fast yarn, the sun may bleach out the color if it's a dyed yarn that has a dye lot. That means it's dyed. And so it might bleach it out some. So, but if you want to do it this way, another thing that I discovered was these boards. Someone gave me some birthday money, and so what I did is I bought, I think, 4 of these, and I bought them originally to use with my granny squares, and so ooh, black coffee flavored with caramel. That sounds good. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Anyway, I bought about 4 of these, and I use them for my granny squares, but they're perfect for blocking any of your small projects. Now, the reason that I block just about all of my small projects, whether they're made out of acrylic yarn or cotton or even wool. Now, wool you have to be careful because you can felt it if you move it too much. Yes, this is a Crochet Dude blocking board. And I bought these back in February from Michael's, just in case you're looking for them. And the neat thing about them are these little teeth. You can use one or you can hook them together. That's why I bought 4. Then I could do several things at once, several granny squares. Anyway, but I do the exact same thing. I pin it on, and you have your lines and things so you can line things up. I use just plain water. Some people will put a dab of vinegar in it, and that's okay, but you need to remember that when you use vinegar, it will soften your yarn, and if you're looking for a crisper look, the vinegar is probably not the best way to go, unless you're doing something like a Red Heart Super Saver that's scratchy, or a craft yarn. Yeah, the grit is great. I agree. Okay, so I pin it on, I spray it, and then I make sure, again, that it's where it needs to be. And then again, I set this board right on my dryer. And a neat thing about this board is that it won't soak the water in. It beads up. If I can just let it running off. See right there? It beads up. And so it'll soak into the yarn, but it won't soak into the board. And this board is kind of like what you call a self-healing board, where you can poke the pins in, and after a while the hole goes away. So they're really good, sturdy, they're worth the money. But like I said, if you don't want to spend the money on something like this, you can just get you a styrofoam board or a sponge board that's pretty stiff. And you can find these at Hobby Lobby for a couple of bucks. And just use a nice clean towel that you have, an older towel, maybe you're not going to use it anymore, something, and you can specifically. Okay, the stainless steel pins, you can get those in the sewing department in any fabric store. You can find them at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's. There's someplace else I've seen them, but it will say on them stainless steel. Yeah, because if you use, vinegar is really strong. It's great to use for softening up stuff, but you don't need to use it when, in my opinion. Now remember, all these things are my opinion. Some people may differ. But anyway, if you don't want to spend the money on a blocking board or two, you can make your own by just getting a thick, dense foam, or use a styrofoam board. Put your cloth over it. And the reason I say a towel is because it will soak up the moisture. You don't want it in your sponges underneath. Where the other board, it doesn't soak the water up. And you can pin it the same way. And that's why I said, you know, someone had said that they just use cardboard left over. But the thing about cardboard is it does soak up the moisture, and it becomes flimsy, and you need to be able to pin it and have those pins stay in place, because you're shaping as you go. And you know, maybe some small projects, maybe you don't really need it. It's totally up to you. And the thing for me is, if I'm going to give it as a gift, I definitely want it to be as crisp and tidy as it possibly can, because I want my person that I give my gift to like it, you know. And like this star, it's a beautiful little star. It just needs to be crisped up so that it's nice and straight. And if you look behind me back there, there's another one that's made exactly the same way as these. It's made, I think I used a smaller hook because I wanted this one and that one to be a little bit smaller. I want to say I used an F instead of the, I think the pattern calls for an I, maybe. I have to look at the pattern. It's my pattern, but I have to look at it. But anyway, that one up there, I did use a little stiffener on it. I used a little bit of starch, and all I did is I used like I don't even want to say a teaspoon, just a tiny bit of starch, and I mixed it in warm water, and then I just sprayed it on, put it on a backing board, and let it dry. And it worked great. And there's a video that we're going to do to show you how to make the star and then how to put it onto your tree. And that one I bought a inexpensive $1.99, I think, tree topper, and just used it to put my star on. So yes, that's another thing, Sophie, to use the playing mats that you use for children. That is a great idea. If you're not going to use them anymore, I don't know what they cost, but you usually get a pack of several, and that's a really great idea. If you're going to be blocking a large item, what I do is I just lay it out flat on my deck, and I just use the lines of the wood to line it up, and then I spray it and just let it dry. And if it's huge, I mean, you know, it's not going to fit on a backing board. If you've got a bunch of those play squares, that's a great idea, because they're really made out of similar thing. The only thing, they usually have a little bit of vinyl, and when you poke a hole in them, just depends on how they're made. If they're the spongy ones, that's excellent. But yeah, use what you've got. Don't spend money if you don't have to. That's my theory. Okay, so that's what you do. Now, there is a video I made yesterday. I think it's like 5 minutes, not even very long. I'll pin that here after the video, after we're done, so that you can have. It's really, really easy. It just shows exactly what I'm doing. And I did it down in my kitchen. The funniest thing, I was trying to do this video, and I had it all worked out. And every time I would check it, you know, for angles and things, there would be this big glow, and I'm like, where is this glow coming from? But it was the light bulb in my kitchen was off-centered, and so it was right down the side. It was so funny. I should have got in the glow so it looked like I had a halo, huh? Anyway, that video's on YouTube. You can go and look at it, and I'll put it underneath this video so you can see it. It's just really, really simple. I think sometimes in a lot of these techniques that we do, we try to make them too complicated, and we really don't need to. You know, you don't have to buy an expensive mat. You don't have to buy, you know, expensive, I mean, Dollar Tree water bottle. I just marked it. It says water only, you know, water's from your faucet, you know, and unless you're going to stiffen it, you're really just shaping. So anyway, that's my theory. Yes, block your acrylic things if you feel like it needs it. It's kind of like, look at it. If you don't like the way it's laying, just block it. And it's super easy. It takes just 24 hours for it to dry for the most part. And do it, go to bed, check it the next day, you know. That's what I do anyway. Anyway, back to this hat. This hat is made exactly like these hats here. This is the smaller one. It's off the same pattern. I actually did, and I used a chunky brown yarn instead of 2 strands to make the top part. The white part here is 2 strands. And I just added a gingerbread face. And these are off of my I want to say dog bandana, but I'm not sure if I put the eyes and face on that one. But anyway, they're just circles of single crochet. And I stuck them on there, embroidered here, and this added a pom-pom, and I added this cute little button because I had it. And I just thought it would be fun just to show another variation off this hat because it's such an easy hat and such an easy pattern to follow. I mean, it's super easy. All right, so what's going on this week at Posh Pooch Designs? Well, the star that I talked about here is a video that we're going to try to get done on Friday, so I think you're going to like that. And it works great as a tree topper or just a decoration. I thought it was pretty just as a doily to put something on. The other thing we did this week are these. And this is a Christmas ornament that's a coaster. That one's out of shape a little. Guess I need to block that. And I did a red and green and a red and white. And then these are all made out of cotton. And then this one is made out of worsted weight. And the reason I do both is these are great for coasters because it has this little edge that keeps your cup from sliding around. But they're also great to put on your Christmas tree to use as place markers because they fit, you know, any size cup or glass or wine goblet or that you're going to have maybe at your holiday celebration or party or whatever. And then you can let them take these home as a souvenir from your party. You can also hang them on your tree. And that's why if you're going to make them as a coaster, make them out of cotton. But if you're going to make them for your tree, I mean, this would be great just to get a little circle of cardboard and put to so-and-so from so-and-so. Put it on their gift tag. Then they can take that out. And then they have this they can hang on their tree as well. I just love them. They're super simple, you know, 3 rounds of crochet plus the edge. And you don't have to put the edge on either. It's just something I like to do to keep your cup from sliding. Or it's great for kids too. And you can also put the little name card in here to tell everybody where to sit down. And then, or sometimes you get your cups mixed up. You can put the name tag in here. Then when they pick it up, they can go, oh, that's not my glass. That's somebody else's glass of water or wine or whatever. And I mean, these work great, super fast to make, and they're super fun. You can make them out of any cotton or any worsted weight number 4 yarn. Super simple, and they're fun. And the thing is, if you're going to use them for decoration, you can add buttons, bows, ribbons, whatever you want. Make them super fun. So that video I did yesterday, and it's out there. And then we also did our Christmas candy striped washcloths. We did this one, I think, on Friday. They're super easy to make, and they make great gifts. I like to make them in a set of 2 like this, and then I just, there we go, fold them up and put a ribbon around them, and it makes a nice little gift. If someone's going to come and stay with you, and you want to give them a washcloth to have their own, then just take one of these and roll it up, put a ribbon around it, and tell them here's their washcloth candy. See, it kind of looks like rolled candy. And then they can take it home as a souvenir from staying at your place. You know, something like that. Okay, we did that. Let me see. We talked about the star. Oh, I got a special request for a pattern I wrote about 5 years ago to make a video. And this is, look at those ears. It's been packed away. But this is a chihuahua Christmas ornament. And she said, I made it years ago, and I don't understand what I did this time. I said, well, I'll go in and take a look at it. And she said, well, can you make a video? I'm like, okay. So this one is, it's 2 circles. Basically, you put the eyes and the nose on, the ears, and then you make this cute little Santa hat, and you set it on, sew it on. And originally, I made this just as an applique to sew on stuff, and then, or you can use it as a decoration for your tree, or a gift, or gift tag, you know. That's the thing. I think that people like, maybe you're going to buy them a gift, but you want to give them something special also. Making them a little Christmas ornament, you know, or making it into a tag and putting it on their gift bag, that is something that's personal. And if you go out and buy them, say, a bottle of perfume, they're going to use it, or a box of chocolates, they're going to eat it, or clothes or something that they're going to wear out. But if you give them something special and handmade, and it's especially for Christmas, I have a feeling they'll hang on to that, and they'll remember that you took the time to make them something extra special. Now, I've been doing a series the last, I want to say 3 weeks. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 weeks. And I've been trying to get one of my older patterns. What we're doing is I'm going through a lot of my older Christmas patterns, and we're testing them. And I have to tell you, some of the ones I wrote about 7 years ago, I was reading my pattern going, what are you thinking? I don't know what I was thinking, but I've updated a lot of them. I'm getting scratchy. Just trying to work my coffee in. Anyway, I've updated a bunch of patterns like this one here that, you know, she asked for. It was written a long time ago, and it's really, really easy. But, you know, I looked at the wording and I went, oh, that doesn't even make sense. What was I thinking? So I've been doing that with a lot of my Christmas patterns. And so if you go to my Ravelry, or you go to my blog, or you go to YouTube and look at the videos, and I have categories. You can just go straight to the Christmas section. There's gingerbread stuff, and there's ornaments, and there's even one that's, you know, dog poo. Christmas ornament, as silly as that is, it's been one of my best patterns. It's been all over the place. And originally it was written for a dog rescue. They wanted to have 3 in a bag to use as a giveaway. And now every year they ask me for them, and I send them. And I've even given them the pattern and told them make a bunch themselves, and they do. And it was originally written for that, but I'm glad I get to share it with you because it's so silly. It's just a silly pattern. So anyway, if you have any questions about blocking, you know, hi Elizabeth, I didn't see you pop in there. Hi Melissa. Oh, you guys missed my poem at the beginning, and I told it so well. Rewatch the beginning of this video if you're just now tuning in, because I did a video. Is it freezing again? It is very cold here. It was 14 degrees right now when I started this video, and we're getting a snowstorm coming in. So anyway, if you're just tuning in, watch the beginning of the video where I read the poem, the Crochet Christmas Wonderland, or Christmas Crochet Wonderland, and also where we talked about blocking acrylic yarns, because it is really good to block acrylic yarns, but it's totally up to you. And that's really all I have today. We talked about all the new items, about my silly hat. And, the last thing I wanted to, at the beginning of the video, I talked about the dog bandana for the dogs. Yes, do rewatch the poem. It's just silly. But at the beginning of the video, I showed you the dogs, and Maximo was wearing one like this with a bell on it. And Rosie was wearing, she is asleep down there. I'm going to leave her alone. Rosie was wearing one like this, but it was done in blue and white, and it had snowflakes with a silver bell. And this is a great thing to make if you're going to do Christmas pictures with your dogs, or even your cats, and they don't like Christmas sweaters or Christmas hats, but you want a little bit of a theme going on. Just make them up a bandana. This one is super easy. You can see it's all done in double crochet. You're just increasing up. And the pattern is on my blog already, and it has 3 sizes included. But I'm going to do a video on this also, just so you can understand. And also the ties are short because we don't want them to get caught in their toes or their teeth. But if you want it longer, of course, you can make that longer. Anyway, that was the other pattern that we're working on for this week. So we've got a lot of new videos, and we're going to continue that. And the last thing I want to talk to you about before I go is I've been having a little problem with negativity on my Google channel. And it's a no negativity zone. And I know not everyone's going to like my style because I'm pretty weird and crazy, and I like to have fun, and that's okay with me. You know, I may not be your cup of tea or your cupcake, and that's okay. But if you see anything, I know I've probably mentioned this in the past. I've got a few that I'm kind of watching that are, you know, anyway, long story short, if you see anything on there that is negative or unkind to me or others, please let me know, because I want my YouTube channel to be happy and fun, informative too, but just a good time. When you're watching one of my videos, I want you to feel like you're sitting down and having a cup of coffee with a close friend, and we're crocheting together. So anyway, that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. those of you who tuned in later, please watch the beginning and about the blocking, because it really is good. And I'm gonna, like I said, I made a video yesterday about 5 minutes, and I'll post that video underneath this one so that you'll have it so you can see it up close. So I just want to thank you all for meeting with me today and chatting, and I'm looking forward to the day when you can chat back with me, like little screens where we can talk to each other, because I really feel like I've gotten to know a lot of you. Crochet is something fun that we all have in common that we can talk about. So send me your questions. I'll do the very best I can to find answers. And keep it crafty, my friends. See you next week.